Welcome to the Dawn Jarvis Show with Dawn Jarvis, the diverse nurse. And in this podcast, we will be talking about healthcare, self-care, diversity, careers, and well-being from a Black woman's perspective. We're really happy that you're here. So if you're ready, let's get on with the show.
Hello, welcome to another episode of the Dawn Jarvis Show. I'm Dawn Jarvis and I'm the diverse nurse. And in this podcast, I talk to and about busy leaders, professionals and business owners about who they are, what they do and why they do it. These busy professionals are part of my diverse nurse network, and I ask them how they prioritise their own health and well-being and stay focused, positive and productive. Today, I'm delighted to be joined by Simone Vincenzi. I met Simone on Clubhouse and I'm part of his GTEx community. And today he's going to take us through the 4 pillars to grow any coaching, speaking or expert business. We're going to hear about how you discover your unique positioning so you can stand out from the crowd, how you create your own visibility strategy that will allow you to become known in your field and to identify hidden opportunities that are just waiting for you. Simone is a multi-award winning serial entrepreneur and author who has helped launch more than 500 profitable businesses before he reached the age of 30. He writes for Forbes, Entrepreneur Magazine, the Huffington Post, and regular features on TV and radio talking about entrepreneurship and the current small business landscape. He works with coaches, speakers, and experts and entrepreneurs to help them create high converting launches that build their profile so they can make a bigger impact in the industry and in the world. Hi, Simone. It's good to see you. How are you?
Good to see you. I'm really well. How about you?
Good. I'm good, thank you. I'm really glad to see you. And I'm so looking forward to our chat and hearing about all what you're up to. I'm going to start off with, you describe yourself as a serial entrepreneur. I think I know what you mean, but what is a serial entrepreneur and what do they do? And how did you become one? Were you always one?
A serial entrepreneur, I think the best definition is someone crazy. That's what it really means, is that you're crazy enough that for you, the hustle and the challenges that you have growing one business is not enough. So you actually want to grow multiple businesses and to go through that process. Now, jokes aside, I've always had a passion. I think I'm very creative as a person, and naturally, my nature, I'm a problem solver. So you give me a problem, and you give me a situational pressure, and that's where I thrive. And that gets me always to create new ideas and new structures and new frameworks. And I channel this creativity in the business world because I found that is a word that allowed me to express myself for who I am and allow my ideas to take life. And also, meanwhile, bringing people together, which is another big reason why I do what I do, is to create a platform where I can connect with incredible people, and incredible people can connect with each other. And so that's why I think put serial entrepreneur.
Yeah, I can testament to that because I'm part of your community and I've met some incredible people. But were you always a serial entrepreneur? What were you before you were a serial entrepreneur?
Oh, no, absolutely not. I mean, I started my business very early, actually. I started my first business when I was 22. But before that, I started working very early when I was 14, mainly out of necessity. My parents split up and I wanted to be independent. I didn't want to rely on, like, there wasn't much money around in the house after the divorce. And so I just wanted to have, to go take my girlfriend for an ice cream or go around and buy my PlayStation games and stay with friends. And I had my first job as a waiter, which actually I absolutely loved. And I loved even more than school. And I remember since the age of 15, I was like almost working full time every evening and weekends. I was working. So while all my friends were playing or the time off or they were on holiday, I was there working and getting those skills. So by the time I launched my first business at 22, I actually had already an 8-year career. Because I already managed Michelin star restaurant when I was 19. I was at 20. I managed a restaurant with like was a disco restaurant with more than could fit more than 500 people. So I gained a lot of skills very early that allowed me then to start my business when I was 22.
Brilliant. Well, it's always good to have really good experience, and also to have I think a wide experience of life. I think that really helps with being a business owner. Now, you talk about unique positioning, and I know that's what you help people to do. And how do you help people stand out from a crowd?
Well, I think that even before we talk about positioning, I would love to just talk about the 4 pillars of the GTEx method, which is what you want to focus on in terms of growing a business. And I think that a lot of people, when they want to grow a business or start a business, they immediately follow, they want to go on tactics, right? And for example, positioning is a tactic because you are doing a particular thing that positions you in a certain way. But before the tactic, there are principles. And a lot of people, they struggle with the tactics because they don't have strong foundations. They're not having strong principles in place.
Yeah.
So that's why I would love to start from the principles. And the 4 principles that I think every business should keep in consideration is, well, the first one is clarity. Because if you don't know where you're going, then you're just running around like a headless chicken. Everything sounds great. Everything looks great. It's just like the shiny penny syndrome is there, or you're just confused and paralyzed, and you don't even know what's going to be your next step. So having clarity in your business strategy is the first one. To then move to conversion, your ability to create products and services that your audience actually wants to buy, instead of the one that you think that your audience is going to buy, or the one that you are in love. They need to be in love with them, because otherwise you will always struggle to get clients. So that's conversion. Then the third pillar is expansion, which is now your ability to grow and create your audience, because you need to have people that are actually following you, that are liking your style, liking what you're doing, what you're giving, so that you're able to always have clients. And that's expansion. And then the fourth pillar is an influence, which is the one linked to positioning, but is how influential are you in your space, and how are people perceiving you as well? How is your ideal clients perceiving you, your peers perceiving you, and what is your positioning in your field? And if you focus on these 4 pillars, then you have a very strong and solid business, a strong foundation, and then you can start experimenting the different tactics that are up on to implement each pillar. Does it make sense?
Yes, absolutely makes sense. So, when you work with business owners, are people, you said earlier that people sort of talk about tactics, and I think you're right, because I think people think, oh, what practically can I do? So do you have to take a step back to sort of like go for clarity first? And is it a linear process, or can these things come in and out?
They can come in and out. Running a business is not a linear process. I don't think that life is a linear process, and the business is a reflection of life, just in a different way. And so you can focus on principles and tactics at the same time, because I've also known people that have been planning for years and never launched something, right? It's like at some point you just get off your ass and pardon the French, and get something done, right?
Yeah.
Because that's how your business is going to grow, and that's how your business is going to increase. So no, it's not a linear process, but I think that the first thing is having clarity about where you're going. And it is a bit of a chicken and egg situation, because at the beginning is a lot of guesswork, and clarity comes with execution. So a lot of people, they just wait up until they have absolute clarity with everything. That will never happen, because the more you do, the more feedback you get, the more clarity you get as well about how you work, how you operate, what your audience wants. So it's just about having enough clarity to take the first step, getting that feedback, refine. So it's a kind of a dance between tactics and principles, and principles and tactics, where you work on a principle, you find a tactic to use, the tactic gives you feedback, then you go back in the principle, and then you get even more clarity, and then you go and rinse and repeat. It's kind of
That
weird.
sounds good. Yeah, that sounds good. It sounds good. And that I think one of the things I like about working with you is that you're into, people come with, where they think they are, and I know that you go through a process of getting that clarity around that, and then you test it out and implement it, and like you said, you refine it. So tell me a bit more about that, because you are a doing person, from what I know of you, and how does that work? And I suppose that sort of like, I feel like because you're a serial entrepreneur, you'll try everything and see what sticks and how it works. But I know that you've been through many years of refining and trying and refining it and working with different things.
So what's the question?
The question is, how do you help people to sort of get the clarity and move forward and implement?
So the way we help our clients is to go through the GTEx method first. First of all, working them on their business strategy. We have a tool called the Expert Business Canvas that helps you like see in all the different elements of your business in one place, and making it simple, because I think that the key element here to make any business successful is simplifying things enough so then the next action is not overwhelming, or the next action is not too complex. Because complexity is what really kills dreams. We talk about perfection is the killer of dreams a lot in GTEx, and it's about picking your lane, staying on your lane, so you're not getting distracted, and then finding a simplified enough next step for you to take to create that momentum. And a big part of the work that we do with our client is to help them build that momentum, right? Because a business is a momentum game. You build that momentum, and then one opportunity leads to the next, and then it leads to the next, one client leads to the next, and it leads to the next. And then you find that you have a machine that is working, and but it's all about that initial momentum that it works. And so that's how we are helping our clients. First of all, having working clarity, helping them creating high converting offers, then expanding their audience, and also be positioned and influential in their fields. And because they're working on all the 4 elements, then they have a solid foundation, instead of having just some pieces of the puzzle of a business that doesn't really connect together.
That's brilliant. And that sounds really, really busy. And how do you manage? And I know you manage multiple things and multiple programs. How do you manage to keep yourself in your lane? How do you manage to keep yourself focused and positive, and sort of keeping an eye on all the spinning plates?
Now people, I've got great people in place. We have a team of between full-time and part-time. We have a team of 14 people here at GTEx. So that gives me a lot of freedom, where I can focus on mainly what are my biggest skills and strength, or the strategic thinking of the business, instead of doing every single part. So a lot of the implementation in our business now is outsourced to our team members, and that's how I keep my sanity, because otherwise I will not be able to do what I do. And I think that also that's a great lesson, because a lot of people, they think I need to start, they fall in love with the idea of being a serial entrepreneur. They fall in love with the idea of having multiple businesses. But what they do them all at the beginning. Without having one thing and making that one thing work. And then that allows the diversification to happen later. Because running a business is almost like having a baby. You got to feed the baby. You got to give the baby, right? And if you have twins, and if you have 2 babies to feed, it's even more difficult. If you have a triplet, it's even more difficult. So that's the same thing. The more businesses you have, the more difficult it is actually to make it work, in particular the beginning. And for the first, we are in our 8th years of GTEx at the moment of this interview, officially. Unofficially 9 years, because we registered 1 year later.
I get you.
But for the first 5 years, we only had one business. For 5 years, it was only our event company. We're running our training, we're running our event, and that what built that momentum. And then after the sixth year, then when we had our consulting training, which Ben is managing. So even if it's my business as well, I have no say in it. Ben is running with it.
Yeah.
And now we have teams for that business. And also the other business, like the digital marketing agencies that we launched recently with Nicola, that happened, but because we already have an established business here. So I just needed someone that could feel that someone trusted, that could support our community in the done for you services. And so now that business leverage from an existing one, but it all started with making GTEx really strong and really stable. And then everything else, like the diversification, happened later.
Brilliant. And I suppose sort of like looking at your strategy, and what I'm hearing is that you saw the opportunities and took them and utilized the people who are around you in your business, and saw particular strengths that could help you and help them in their business. Is that the sort of model that you look at? Because I know there's lots of really talented people in your community.
Yeah, exactly. The model that we used to actually grow our team has been very internal. So because we work with our clients and we have different opportunities, we actually only twice actually in the history of GTEx recruited outside our community. Because immediately, that's the beauty of running a community-based business. When now you have people that believe in you, they believe in your mission, they believe in what you stand for, and they want to give back and they want to support. And so we had over the years people that volunteered for us and helped us out massively. And then we can see from those people that we can identify within the community that have the traits that we are looking for, or some of the skills that we are looking for. Then first we go to them and say, hey, we have this opening here. Would you like to come and work with us? And sometimes on a contract base, sometimes on a part-time base, and sometimes it also comes on a full-time base. And that's the beauty of it.
Good model. It's a good model, sort of training from within, isn't it? And utilize a real leadership model, actually. That
exactly, because people that can become team members, then they are already bought into the culture of the business because they were clients, and that's the most beautiful part of it.
Brilliant. So this podcast is around, business owners, professionals and leaders, but it's also about health and well-being, because I'm a nurse. So as a serial entrepreneur, very busy, lots of spinning plates, like I said before, how do you manage your own health and well-being? And, is there anything that's challenging or that, sort of takes more effort? Because I have a theory that entrepreneurs are very driven, and sometimes they might not prioritize their health and well-being, but I also think you do need to prioritize it, and that needs to be part of the holistic picture of being an entrepreneur. And what do you think about that, Simone?
Well, I think it's important, and I think I'm still learning that part, honestly speaking. Having been married to my wife was a huge help, because we balance each other in a really great way. My wife is very careful and conscious about their time and their energy. And she can spot when I'm getting stressed or burnout before I can even realize it.
Yes.
And at the beginning, I was consistently burning out because I'm a bit of a workaholic. I love the work that I do. I can just get, I've got some ADHD as well. And so I can just get super hyper focused on something and work for 14 hours a day without stopping, without realizing actually the effect that that has on my body and on my mental health. And so I was always going to this cycle, and the cycle started breaking up after I met my wife and we got married, where she was able to help me put some things in place and not to go down that route again. And also after years of that happening, I got sick and tired as well. I just want to say, I don't want to burn out anymore. And on top of that, though, there are also other different challenges. No, I went quite public with a video on my YouTube channel talking about my mental health struggles in the past few months, because that were mainly caused by the post effect of lockdown. I'm a big people person, and not having that social interaction or basketball or the activities that I was doing to, release that energy that I had without even realizing it, that was affecting me in a very negative way.
Yeah.
And I really had to reassess, my life, my priorities, the way I work, what I give to myself, and put myself first instead of putting my business first. Because for the
Yeah.
longest time, I put the business as a priority, not Simone as the priority. And now things are shifting. So Simone is the priority, and then the business happens later.
Yeah, I think you've gone through a process, and you sort of like use the analogy of a baby, and babies grow up, don't they? And babies learn to be independent, and that's what the business is, isn't it? So you'll put in place like people and strategies, and that so that it can run not necessarily with you totally, and people can do that. And you sort of said that in what you were saying, and also I think I've got ADHD as well, so and you and I know that you definitely you can sort of like just go hours and hours and just work and work and work, but that isn't a long-term strategy, and there's consequences for that. The wisdom which Lavelda, your lovely wife, has helped you with is to recognize that's what's happening and know that's your personality, and then put some strategies in place. And I know you play basketball, I know you do other things. What else do you do to sort of like I know you recently had a date night, because we heard all about it, so that so
well, and there are a few things actually. Now that things are actually opened again is way better.
yeah.
And I can have a lot of my social outlets, being a big social animal, and the way I recharge my energy, I need to be around other people.
Yeah.
Because I give away a lot and I give out a lot, but that's how I get my energy back, by being in social situations. So basketball is a big part of it. I'm very competitive. We play in a professional league in the third division in the UK.
Ooh.
Got great team members, and is the one thing that I do where I can have the worst day in the world, and then I take my basketball and everything else fall away. Like I'm in my zone, and I can forget about everything else, and that's very powerful. Day nights are really important for our relationship, and making sure that both my wife and I run our businesses. So creating that space for us to just be together, no business chat. It's just about us connecting, doing something nice for each other. That's another big part. And also another thing is self dates, like taking myself out for a date.
Oh, I
That's
love
something I
this.
implemented recently. Yeah. Just doing something for me once a week that I'm just doing for myself.
That's fantastic. That's the first. That's the first. I haven't heard that. I asked everybody this question. Nobody said take yourself out on a date.
I'm taking
like
myself
that.
on a date now.
You might.
I worked with a coach after my the breakdown that I had, and
Yeah.
I was like, we started that because that was my learning, is to put myself first. And so that's just to create a few hours a week where I'm just giving myself what I want, and my life has improved as a result of that. Absolutely.
Brilliant. That's wonderful. Thanks for that tip. That's really, really good.
You're welcome.
Do you have a gift? I know that you have some freebies that you might want to share with the audience.
Yeah. So if anyone is interested in growing your coaching, speaking, and consulting business, you can go on my website, which is gtex.org.uk. So gtex.org.uk. And there you can find resources to help you grow your coaching and speaking business. In particular, there is a free training that you can watch and download on expanding on the 4 pillars of the GTEx method, and how to get started with those that we talked about today. So if you want to create a profitable, sustainable business, then I'm sure you will love it.
Yeah. And also there is a expert biz checklist as well that you have on that website, and we'll put the links to the website and all of your social media as well. What's the best way to contact you if people want to know more about you? Is it the website, or is it a particular social media domain?
Social media, you can find me everywhere on all social media. Just disclaimer, recently we're talking about before my social media accounts, both my Facebook and Instagram were hacked and shut down. So I'm rebuilding. So if you see like 1-2 followers right now, that was because I've lost all the tens of thousands that I had before. So I'm in a rebuilding phase on social media. But you can find me at Simone Gtex in all on Facebook, on LinkedIn. Instagram now is the official Simone Gtex after I lost the other one. But any social media platform, tap Simone Vincenzi, then you can contact me and I cannot wait to get in touch with you.
I'm sure that you will build up your followers really, really, really quickly, because a lot of people know what
Hey,
happens.
that's going to be easier than the first time. That definitely is.
Yeah.
Way more resources now.
Yeah, that's true. And you built up a community of like-minded people who will want to re-engage with you, definitely. We're coming to the end of the show. I was just wondering if there's like one tip or something you'd like to leave the audience with, sort of that would help them on their potential journey to being an expert biz owner.
Sure. I think that the best thing you can do is to focus on building your community in your business. And the best piece of advice that I've ever received and I can give you is build your community first, and your community will build your business because they will be with you. They will be your rock, and they will be also your customers. They will keep buying from you, and also is incredibly fulfilling because you get to know them and you get to serve them. So build your community, and your community will build your business.
Simone, you're full of nuggets today. I love that.
Not just a pretty face.
Oh, that's amazing. That was amazing. Thank you. I love that. You should trademark that. That's really good. Thank you so much. It's been an absolute pleasure. I know you're really short of time. Thank you so much for coming on to this show. And that's it for the Dawn Jarvis show today. If you like what you heard from us, please like, share, subscribe, and and tell us what you think in the comments. And I hope to see you soon. Take care. Bye-bye.
Thank you for listening to the Dawn Jarvis Show. If you enjoyed this episode, there are 2 things you can do. Number 1, leave Dawn a rating and a review on Apple Podcasts. It would mean so much to her if you took a moment out of your time to post your thoughts on the show. It will help Dawn reach so many more people and help them with their well-being. Number 2, subscribe to Dawn's email list, the Diverse Nurse Digest, using the link in the show notes. Until the next time, thank you and goodbye.